Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for the 21st of June. Now, there's not a hell of a lot to go through. We've had no major economic data out this week, but that's all about to change. We've got a huge amount of big things coming out today. So just looking at the majors. Now, the dollar yen, just of note, it has recovered back to where it started pretty much on Monday, Tuesday, I think it was, after Trump's comments about China. So dollar yen has corrected, but where the Aussie was, and definitely the Kiwi, they have not recovered at all. They've slowly drifted to the downside, being two of the major currencies that would be impacted by an increase in tariffs on China. Now, see how, and the main move here, look at euro, it's just trading sideways, waiting for the Bank of England and the Swiss National Bank decisions today. Nothing to really push euro lower, but we are getting really like a multi-low here. So around 115.40, I could see, if it breaks back down through 35.40, we might see a bit of a clean out in euro. Sterling, it's just doing the old step down, but we do have the Bank of England today, and that's going to be the main event. It looks a little bit better on sterling yen, also euro sterling. Dollar CAD, sorry, just to cover all the majors here. The oil has sort of steadied itself around 65.5. Still, dollar CAD, no one really wants to buy it up here. You can see it, it's going up like 10 points every day, but it's not enough to really get into a good trade. It's in the middle of no man's land. So I'm sort of giving that a bit of a wide berth at the moment. It looks better on CAD yen for all action there. So just coming back across to have a look at the US dollar itself. Now, it is, it's sort of like a mirror image, a little bit of euro. Obviously, euro is 58% of the basket of the dollar index, so you'd expect that to happen. But still, not only sort of correcting higher, as you can see here on the daily charts, it is still sort of slowly pushing higher, but it just doesn't have that extra big kicker of like a really strong economic data release or further information from the Fed. But once again, the Bank of England, Swiss National Bank may change that. They are a part of this basket, so we may see some activity there. Just looking at the equity markets, US equities pretty flat to me. That's Nasdaq up 0.7, Dow Jones down 0.17, and S&P up 0.17. So not a lot of action there. The Nikkei was due to start in the red. It went into the black after some strong bond numbers, but it's slowly coming back into the red. That'll drift dollar yen back down a bit. So not a lot to go from there, but let me just come across and start to give you a bit of an overview of what we have got on today. Now, if you just have a look at the next upcoming event, right, 6.5 hours we've got until the Swiss National Bank, I should say. But, a couple of things to note. We do have, good trading conditions. The currencies lack momentum, but you know what? Technically, they are set up quite nicely. So the Swiss National Bank first cab off the rank in the European session. Now, you don't expect much out of the SNB, but they can occasionally do some random stuff. Their numbers have been pretty consistent, so I don't see any changes there. But just be aware of it, right? Because if they do something, it will be big. And that will impact directly on euro and the other major pairs in particular. So, but the major event probably for the week is the Bank of England, official bank rate. We've got the vote count, the MPC summary. This is going to be quite critical. Now, the previous month, all the economic data was weak. That data has pretty much corrected this month. So it's going to be interesting to see what the forward guidance is from the Bank of England. And that'll really determine where sterling goes from here. I know Brexit's been simmering in the background. The media's been trying to pump it up a bit without too much success. So this central bank meeting is going to be key. And then if we are looking for something specific on the euro, well then check out the Eurozone consumer confidence numbers and the German flash manufacturing after that. Friday, we've got the CAD CPI numbers, and that's a pretty good opportunity there. So that's what we've got coming up in the next 24 hours. Now, just coming back to match up the daily analysis snapshot in relation to those technicals. Now, technically, the best pair that looks for all money like it's going down is the Kiwi. It's drifting lower. We don't have a fundamental driver there. It's just going down. It's breaking down on the hourlies, dailies, and weeklies. The technical picture for euro, because it's stalling here, is a little bit skew-if. So I've got a bit of a weight signal on that. Sterling and Aussie on the daily, on the longer term charts, they are bearish, but short term there's not much going on. So overall, you're probably looking to sell on rallies. I would suspect dollar CAD, it is in the middle of nowhere, but you know what? The charts are telling me you've got to be long. You've got to be long dollar CAD. But since it's in the middle of nowhere, that's why it's not going too far, because no one really wants to sacrifice themselves up at these high levels. The OPEC meeting going into Friday will be the key event for dollar CAD, right? Obviously, the CPI numbers, CPI retail sales figures on Friday, but then OPEC, you know, the oil, what happens with oil will be the main determining factor. Now, the other key part here is looking at dollar yen. You know, overall on the dailies, it is going up, and we've had that bounce back on the hourlies. To me, it looks like it should go higher. And you know what? If there's nothing out of China and Trump, it will go higher. So just bear that in mind. Dollar yen is caught in between sort of an upward bias technically, but geopolitical pressure on the downside. So it's a little bit tricky, but to me, it's starting to look like a bit more of a buy sort of signal. Long term, the dollar index itself is going up. So technically, I've got it as a buy. Once again, it's sort of in the middle of nowhere. We're starting to get sort of mixed data. You know, the Fed sentiment is sort of drifting a bit as well now. So that's pretty much the daily snapshot. As you can see, we are lacking the major ingredient here. And that's why the markets aren't moving too much. And that's why the bankers aren't ripping into these currencies. The fundamental outlook for all the majors is pretty neutral right at this very point. Now, we have got some lingering sort of bearish sentiment from the ECB. We've got some lingering positive sentiment from the Fed, but it's not enough to really give the currencies momentum. And that's unfortunately, we've got these setups. If we could get the fundamental side chiming in, then it's an easy trade. At the moment, we're just trading technically, and it feels a little bit slow, a little bit cumbersome. So just remain patient. Now, coming down to the next best trades, I can see some really good opportunities. Now, dollar yen has been the driving force all week, or the focus. It has broken higher, but I can see three of the crosses with good potential. Okay, euro yen on the downside, looking to capture a move if some bad news comes out on the yen. Looking to capture some news there. And on the top side, Aussie yen and sterling yen. So just to give you a quick look at those, at the setups there, Aussie yen. It's broken through sort of short-term technical resistance. We've got the cloud there as well. A break through that cloud should see it really kick into gear. Exactly the same for sterling yen. Now, sterling yen and sterling are obviously going to be a major point because we've got the Bank of England today as well. But topside, if nothing stops dollar yen today, and there's no more comments from Trump or China, I think dollar yen pops above 111, and we'll see these crosses kick into gear. On the odd chance or the off chance that we don't, or we do get something out of Trump or China, then dollar yen should head lower. And I think euro yen is the best pair to be looking through that, going down through that support line and down through the cloud. It's an easy trade setup. Now these three pairs, I've got Aussie selling on a rally there as well, but the three yen legs are easy setups that I can put on. The Ichimoku cloud trader will control the management of those orders, so I don't have to spend too much time in front of the screens. All right, that's pretty much it, guys. There's not much else to look at. The majors are just doing their thing. They will wait, and traders at all the institutions, all the banks will wait for the numbers to come through. So you're either looking to get into back into the trend here. As I said, I don't think fundamentally these currencies are looking super on driving. Euro is a better reflection of where the global fundamentals are. As we head into that Bank of England meeting, you'd expect sterling to trade sideways unless the beast, dollar yen, does shoot up or shoot down on some news. You can start to see there as well, just to finish up, the US 10 years, which is the orange line I've overlaid on dollar yen. Look how closely they are correlating once again. So during the yen session, keep a very close eye on the cloud. It's already through that. But during that North American session, keep an eye on those US 10 years. If they start to move and move up, well, then you should expect to see dollar yen to move with it. And the loonie, well, it's been loony, that's for sure. We've got an upward moving currency. We've got a downward or an upward moving oil price, which should see dollar CAD move lower, but it's not. I think the OPEC CAD CPI Friday is probably what's holding us back. Anyway, that's the wrap as far as I can see it, guys. Just take it easy. The European session today is really the start of the trading week. Okay, it's the first major directional information we're going to get, and the Bank of England, the key event to focus on. All right, that's the FX Market Insight. We'll catch you later on, or we'll see you in the trade zone. Cheerio.